I met Dr. Terino about 30 years ago. He was recommended to me by a friend that was very conservative. And when she heard that what I was looking to do, she mentioned Dr. Terino, and I had been around with other doctors. And when I first walked into his office, oh my God, it was like a weight had been lifted off of me, and he looked at me and he knew exactly what I was looking for, and he started to listen to me, and he spent a great deal of time hearing what my needs were. Um, when I had the surgery with him, you can even tell I had anything done to me, and I was sitting out in his waiting room, and some of his patients were in there, and they asked me, "What are you having done?" And I said, "I already had it done." And they were like, "What? You did?" And so they were looking everywhere to see if they could find scars, and nothing. I was going like this and look. And so I was really pleased, and they were like impressed. Another time I was in the waiting room, some of the patients were asking, "Well, is he expensive?" And I'm saying, "Expensive? I think we make more of a big deal over a haircut than we would looking for our doctor to change our life." And so they were real quiet afterwards, and my experience with him has been life-altering. It's like I was starting to age, and he made me feel young, and he made me happy. And if I'm happy, I make my family happy. And I was working with children, and some of the teachers would ask me if I was rested, or "There's something about you that looks different," and none of them could guess what it was. And so to this day, I am pleased. He's my new best friend, my old new best friend. I was getting to the age where the children were growing up, and I felt like I wasn't needed anymore. Stay at home, and your place is at home. And so I took it on myself to look for a doctor, and that's when I found Dr. Terino. And it was like I didn't even tell my husband. It was like I went on my own on this wonderful excursion, and it changed my life totally. My job, that when I started working, I had a promotion, and they would tell me, "You look like you're a runner," and because you exude that tall, take big steps. And it was only because I had that little trip with Dr. Terino. It was perfect. Well, in my culture, a lot of women stay as they are. They don't, I guess we were brought up not to, we are what we are. And so they stay in the same old life, humdrum, day after day. And I didn't want that for me. I didn't want my family to be used to the fact that we were going to get old and frumpy, and I had a few bulges here and there, and when I came to see him, he changed my life. I changed everyone's life. My husband, he even had a promotion over that, and I feel that that credit was given to me, and only because of Dr. Terino. And my children remember to this day, when they were younger, they would say how I've changed, my personality, how I expressed myself a little more than before. I wasn't just being heard, or seen, I was being heard now. So that was outstanding. I get choked up every time I think about it. since I've seen Dr. Terino, now I want to flash myself out all over the place. And my daughter says, "Mom, calm down." But this is my new young years. I walk into a room and I feel the attention is all on me. That's funny to say, but I do. I feel that security, that confidence. And I'm going to be 70 years old in a couple of weeks. I don't feel it. I don't feel it at all.
Well, originally, my wife and I, what brought me to this, my wife and I had some personal photos done for the house, tasteful photos, and we had a professional photographer come by and do the whole thing, and I thought, oh, this is great. My wife's considerably younger than I am, and keeping up with that is an issue. And so when we got the prints back, I looked at the photos, and I was really excited to get the film back. And I looked at the photos, and I thought, oh, where did that neck come from? So told my wife, I said, get on Google, find the best doctor you can, and make this go away. And she came up with Dr. Terino, did a lot of study, a lot of background checks, and noting his accomplishments, we decided on Dr. Terino, and it's been great since. In respect to these photographs that we had done, my wife, being 20 years younger, looked incredibly awesome, size 0. I tried to gain weight my whole life, and when she got pregnant this last time, I gained 30 pounds, and I think, 25 of it was right here. So she did a lot of research on Google to come up with a doctor that could make this go away and somebody that I felt comfortable with. She came up with Dr. Terino. Well, initially, we both went in, my wife and I went in to have the neck done. And he spoke a great deal about what to expect in the procedure. One thing I do really like about Dr. Terino is he loves to talk. And many people may not know that, but he loves to talk. He loves to go on and on about every in and out of the procedure, so you get a full understanding, and it puts you more at ease before you go through it. And this particular procedure took quite a long time. The healing was rather rapid. There's lingering effects, tightening of the muscles and things like that you'll feel over time. But when we went in for the original consultation, he had mentioned that because I had a smaller chin, that it might be a good idea to put a chin implant in and widen the chin. So rather than go under the knife twice, we had both procedures done. Very happy with the results. In respect to the concerns, I really didn't have that many. I wasn't really afraid of the procedure. Noting all the years of experience he's had, it's not his first rodeo, so it wasn't a situation where I went in and thought, well, I got to be worried about the anesthesiologist and this and that. He had done some mock imagery on his computer about what it would look like before and after. I was satisfied with that, and in fact, the after photos that were taken prior to the procedure were very accurate. So honestly, I didn't have that many concerns. It wasn't a big deal for me. I would certainly recommend, and I have recommended Dr. Terino. Plastic surgery is not something that I think in today's economy people are lined up to do, but anytime I'm in an atmosphere amongst people that do have the means to follow through with something like this, and I hear them, husbands and wives, talking about it, I'm the first one to recommend Dr. Terino. The biggest difference, or not the biggest difference, but the thing that I noticed most after getting it done, it was immediate, it was within a week, was I would see somebody I hadn't seen in a couple weeks, sometimes a couple months or longer, and nobody ever said, what did you do to your face? Nobody ever said anything like that. Everybody said the same thing. Wow, you lost weight. You look really good. I said, well, thank you. And some people close enough to us, we explained what we went through, and everybody was, that's great, that's cool. I was a little bit antsy as a guy, having that conversation with the guys, but the few that I had that conversation with were, man, I'd love to do the same thing. and it's been really positive. It's not just about your appearance, and you know, when you lose weight, whether it's through Dr. Terino's methods or any other method, when you look better, you feel better. When you feel better, you do better. When you do better, you make more money. When you make more money, you can come back to Dr. Terino.
I work for Dr. Terino. I'm one of his surgical nurses. I actually greet the patient with admissions, calm the patients down because we're always excited. Then we go into surgery, and I circulate with the doctor, and I also recover the patient after surgery. My surgical experience as a registered nurse is about 35 years. I've worked with some incredible surgeons, big-time surgeons in Beverly Hills, famous, but my favorite of all is Dr. Edward Terino. I've worked with him for the last few years. I've learned more about facial surgery than any other doctor. I love his technique. I love his patient care, his personality with the patients. He seems to be very real. Expectations are met. Patients are always happy. Patient concerns. Am I going to wake up? That's probably the one thing I always hear. Will I look all right? It's very common. The fear of the unknown. Patients always wake up with us. They always have a pleasant experience at the surgery center. Doctor prepares preoperative with medications to avoid nausea, to avoid pain, and it's a transition that's very smooth. Dr. Terino is unique to me because he's a founder and invented the chin implant. He has more knowledge to me than any plastic surgeon on this planet right now because of his experience. He's board certified in many areas, which you will not find today. Dr. Terino, he focuses on the patient's expectations. He meets them. He's not concerned about the finance part. He's always concerned with the patient's needs and wants. Very successful. I admire that more than anything in any other position. At my age right now, although I don't look my age because of Dr. Terino, I am going to stay with him until he quits, then I'll quit. We'll both retire together. I love this doctor. He's wonderful. As Dr. Terino's nurse, I'm also one of his patients. And let me tell you, when women get a certain age, in their 50s, we get that middle-age spread known as belly fat. We get the sagging breast. It can make you miserable. So I went to Dr. Terino as a patient, and I said, help me make this better. Well, look at me. I am so happy. I wake up in the morning. I have a whole new outlook. I feel refreshed. All because of what Dr. Terino did for me. He did a breast lift, and he took off the belly fat, liposuction of the belly fat. It was an absolutely enjoyable experience. I did not have any pain. Minimal. I was back to work, don't tell him, in a week. And I totally would recommend the procedure to anyone at any time.